Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Um, eh. Hey, I'm here with part 2 of my issue. Part 2 of my issue. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna wait a few minutes. As they say, you don't have to like it, but just share it. Just share it. Okay? Don't have to like it, but just share it. I got part 2 about to start it up. Yo, big bro, I meant to call you today, but after my live earlier today, my phone was like ringing like crazy, man. I was getting messages on both sides of me today, and I had meant to call you, but you know what? It's never too late. I will make sure that I reach out to you this evening, if that's okay with you. But I want to continue. Hey, what's up, Vic? My niece in the room now. Yeah, I need to talk to you. Your mom said you need to talk to me about something about the Bible. So give me a holler later on tonight if you want to. I'll be up. Well, I want to. Okay, cool beans. I want to finish up what I started today. And when I say that, I mean literally, because a lot of people was calling me. I was getting these sidebar messages today. And when I was getting them, I wasn't confused, but I was kind of like at awe with everything, because it was like, some people was upset that I said what I said. Some people said very informative. I had some people that sat back and they was basically saying I was wrong for saying what I said. But let me tell you one thing for certain, two things for sure. I will not back down from what I said. And I'm going to finish it out tonight. It ain't going to take me long to finish what I started. I was going in so hard, I actually lost my voice. So I better go ahead and make it to the doctors so they can, let me know what's really going on. I was supposed to went to the doctors last week, but certain things happened and I wasn't able to. But let me get to this now and call it a day. Earlier today, I was talking about how people, and when I say people, I mean people, how people will sit back and talk about the juveniles or the youth when they get in trouble. People will sit around, they will signify, and people will talk about how the men or the boys are not being sought after to do good. Well, today I made a decree and I said that to me it's not the boys. When you tell me that a little child is capable, or a little child is not important, then don't tell me when that little child go out here and take a gun and shoot somebody that it's the mother's fault. Well, I feel as though now that after what I heard today and yesterday, I feel as though that now I'm looking at a lot of stuff, and what I see is this. What I see is a lot of people, grace and peace, Bishop Kelsey. A lot of people will point at who they want to point at. But in essence, it's all of our fault. Because at the end of the day, it takes a village to raise a child. Like I said earlier today, who's raising the village? We have 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds out here needing help, needing love, needing guidance. The daddy may be in prison, the dad may be on the other side of town, but you know what? When a mother or a grandmother reaches out for help and you can't help them, I have an issue with that. And my issue was, I'm sitting back and I'm looking at the men, all these church pastors. I'm looking at all these ones who are sitting back saying that they are Bible-toting believers, but your community is going to hell in a hay basket. You have little children, 6 and 7 years old. The grandparents, the mothers are crying out for help. Oh, this ain't gonna get no better because this is part 2. They're crying out for help, but nobody wants to help them. I don't understand that. And for a Pastor Boy, I need to talk to you tonight. For these people not to be reaching out to help 6 and 7-year-olds. Let me tell you something. I told them there was an 8-year-old that raped his 5-year-old sister. There was a 7-year-old that shot a 15-year-old. So how can you tell me that the children of today, that's not pre-adolescence or adolescents, they need help? You can't tell me that 6-year-olds need mentors this day and age. There's no fathers in the house. Okay? There are no fathers in the house. There are no brothers and sisters in the house. But so who are we? Where are we at as men and women of God? You say that you are your brother's keeper. I don't understand that equation because you're not your brother's keeper. You're not your brother's keeper. And see, I can say that because when you look at the crime stats that's going on in the world today, I'm one that can sit back and say that. Well, how can you say that? Because I see it. I see juveniles coming, and I see them going. I see kids dying and kids living. I see kids walking the street begging for stuff, and I see kids that are not. But the overall picture is we as men need to help grow or help nurture or help put our men in order. I seen Bishop just put something on here. Let me go to my big screen. One second, y'all. Because today I couldn't read and do it all things at the same time today because everybody was chiming in on me. Okay. Bishop Boyd says we have to take it to the street and host more community events versus doing things for members. And you know what? You're right about that. We talked about that today. How all these preachers will stay behind 4 walls, but they don't come out to the community. They're not like you, Bishop. We see what you do. But the other preachers, the ones who like to sit back and talk about who got small churches, who got big churches, who making money, who ain't making money. See, them are the type of preachers that sit back and I call them signifying pulpit pimps. Signifying pulpit pimps. They don't want to open their doors for nobody. They don't want to help the children in the neighborhood. And see, I was talking to Joaquin Muhammad a few minutes ago, and he said something that was quite interesting to me. He said deacons are supposed to bring in the soldiers. Missionaries are supposed to bring in the small evangelists. But when a deacon when an evangelist go out to bring in the deacon is looking at her skirt. I didn't get that at first. Yes, we have women going out doing the work of a deacon. We have women going out doing the work of a pastor. We need to come together as a community to understand that the kids of today need guidance. 7-year-old, 6-year-old, 8-year-old. Age shouldn't make a difference when you say we're trying to reach the lost at any cost. Age shouldn't make a difference. So when you have a 6-year-old going out here committing a crime, it shouldn't make a difference what age he is. He needs a brother. He needs a father figure. He needs a brother, sister to help guide him. Growing up, we had people in the barbershops that would guide us. We had people in the church that would guide us. What happened to the guides of yesteryear? What happened to them? They died off. Now you have all these little kids out here committing crimes, and then you want to talk about who the mama is, what the mama did do, what the mama didn't do. But where's the fathers? See, it reminds me of something in the Bible where it talked about how they were talking about they brought this woman to Jesus, and the woman was caught in adultery. And when she was caught in the act of, all these men around that she done slept with, they wanted to tell Jesus what the law was. He already knew what the law was. And then he said to them, he without sin cast the first stone. Now here is the smack in the face. Every man figure that she slept with walked away. They wasn't named. They wasn't put on Front Street. So when it comes to raising this village, he without sin cast the first stone. You politicians, cast the first stone. You pastors, bishops, apostles, cast the first stone. Because at the end of the day, you are dead wrong. You are supposed to be helping widows and orphans. But what are you doing? You're out here throwing a rock, covering your hand. We have little boys that need to become men. We have little boys that need to be from prince to kings. And we can't have that because guess what? They're falling by the wayside and we didn't do nothing about it. Nothing about it. We don't have enough manly godliness in us to go out to reach them boys in them neighborhoods that need help, that need a father figure. Because see, the woman, all she did was laid, he planted a seed, and then he treated her like a dog. Laid, planted a seed, he went to the next one. But he's not thinking about his son. He's not thinking about his son, the one that he put on this earth. So guess what? Since he's not thinking about his son, then it's up to us as men. If we see a kid doing something wrong, we need to go. As a man, we need to go and show that child the right way. We as preachers, we as business leaders, we as politicians need to find a way to help nurture these kids. We're sitting back on our seats of do nothing. Like I said, I work in the circumference of what I'm talking about. Juveniles, murderers, attempted murderers, rapists, extortionists, carjackers. I work in the circumference of it. And we're allowing them to fall to the wayside. 7 years old, the grandmother and the mother can't even get a community program to help their grandchild. That's just pathetic. But we can find money for everything else. We can find sources and revenue for everything else. But we cannot find a single iota of a nickel to help a child that needs help. Why is that? When do we as a people stop caring about the youth of today? I'll wait. When did we stop caring? When did we as parents, when did we as soldiers stop caring about the youth of today? When do we stop? Did it stop when the offering plate stopped? When did we stop? Somebody tell you that? We can't teach nobody's kids anything. We can't teach nobody. You know why we can't teach them? Because it's all about us. It's all about the money that's coming in. We can't help nobody because it's all about the money. We can't, see, you got to realize, today I had so much dialogue going, I couldn't go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But let me tell you something. Today, I sat down, and after the fact, I was getting all these phone calls. People telling me I wasn't right. People telling me, oh, how could you say that? No matter what I say, see, like I told them earlier, I can prove everything I say. Statistically, socially, economically, I can prove it. And when you sit back and you look at all these organizations that's supposed to be looking out for these little boys, for these young kids, it hurts my heart to know that we are falling to the wayside because of what? Because we're so stuck up on ourselves. We're so stuck up on the money that we make. We can't help others. We're so stuck up on that. We can't help a 6-year-old or 7-year-old or 8-year-old. Why not? It starts with us. As a man, you should be able to gird up your loins. Talk to kids. Talk to little boys. Let them understand who you are and whom's you are. Let them know that they can grow, that they can prosper, but we don't want to do that. No, we don't. Why not? Why not? Why not? Because we're so stuck on ourselves. As men, we have dropped the ball. As community leaders, we have dropped the balls. And when you drop the ball, it affects the community. As a man, it affects the community. Everybody is always saying how the women takes over the churches. Why do women take over churches? Can somebody tell you why? Because there's no men to do it. There's no men to do it. There's no real men standing up to be a father figure. There's no real men standing up to be a big brother figure. There isn't. There isn't. And that's the sad and sick thing about what's going on today. Everybody wants to cry out what people are doing and what people are not doing. But at the end of the day, where are the real men at? Where are the real kings at? We got these little kids out here committing crimes every single day that don't have no guidance, that don't have no father figure, that don't have no big brothers to help guide them through. And as soon as you see a boy carrying a pocketbook, you want to call him a faggot. If you would have went to that little boy when he was 6 or 7 years old to help guide him, to help nurture him to become a king, guess what? He wouldn't be carrying a pocketbook. That's just real talk. So we need to stop pointing the finger at what the women ain't doing. But the men need to step up. These pastors need to step up. See, I don't know how it is in your town, where you're from, but guess what? As a man, we need to step up. I remember when we went to the barber shop as a child, Reverend Lester would take that switch out or that strap out and spank us if we did something wrong. Put you back up in the chair and then cut your hair and send you on home. We don't have that no more. Like I said again, an 8-year-old raped his 5-year-old sister. A 7-year-old shot a 15-year-old. And you telling me that the kids of today don't need help? I beg to differ. I beg to differ. It's time for us as men to stand up. Church leaders, civic leaders, community leaders, politicians. We can find money for everything else, but when can we find money to help raise our kids? And I don't mean help raise your kids in a sense of being on welfare or whatever. But when I say raise your kids, teach them how to play football. Teaching them how to swim. Teaching them how to read and write. Teaching them how to even tell time. Teaching them how to play sports like tennis, lacrosse. Teaching them something to keep them out of trouble. Keep their minds occupied. Teach them how to read the Bible. Let me put a pin right there. What's funny about this, and I have people tell me, call me up and tell me, you was right. I said this. I needed everybody to look at my life. I said, when you go out to eat again, either in your own house or out in a restaurant, see how many people that you walk past their table and they don't have either a tablet out or a cell phone out. And I said, then call me and let's talk about it. I had over 50 people as of right now that have called me and said, Parham, you was right. Every table I passed by, they was either texting, talking on the phone, or on a tablet.